Here we have a problem in trigonometry, that is we have to evaluate the expression sine inverse of sine of 2 pi over 3. Okay, to solve this problem, let me consider an important property of the inverse sine function, that is sine inverse of sine x equals to just x. So here I write an expression that is sine inverse sine and x. So whenever I write an expression like this, so whatever stuff I have over here, so that is the evaluation of this complete expression. So this expression is equal to x. But there is a restriction for the values of x over here. That is, this x must be belonging to the closed interval negative pi over 2 comma positive pi over 2. Otherwise, it can be written as an inequality. That is the negative pi over 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to positive pi over 2. Because the arc sine or sine inverse, for sine inverse, the range is the closed interval negative pi over 2 comma positive pi over 2. So the evaluation what we get over here on the right side has to be in this interval. It can be, I mean, x can take any value from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. Okay, here when I look at the stuff in our problem, I mean the expression, the sine inverse of sine. So this is exactly in this form. So at the place of x, we have 2 pi over 3. So immediately what we will think is we will write the answer for this one as 2 pi over 3, that is 2 pi over 3. Is it correct? So for that we have to check it. So as I said earlier, so whenever we have an expression in this form, its evaluation is whatever value we have over here, that is the evaluation we have to write on the right side. But we have restriction for this x, it has to be in this interval. So please check whether we have this 2 pi over 3 in this interval. No, it is not in that interval. So 2 pi over 3 is not a evaluation for this expression. So what do we have to do for that? So let me consider this closed interval with quadrants. So negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. These, I mean, it covers the fourth quadrant and the first quadrant. So the value we get for this expression, the expression in this form, has to be either in the fourth quadrant or in the third quadrant. Okay, so now let me evaluate this sine 2 pi over 3 separately, because I'm not able to evaluate the given expression. The reason is, so the value which I get over here is not in this interval. So for that, I'm going to evaluate this one separately. So now let me write sine of 2 pi over 3. So how do we have to evaluate this one? So for that, first we have to identify the quadrant in which we have this 2 pi over 3. So if you find it difficult to do with radians, but you can convert this one to degrees easily. So because we know that pi over 3 is 60 degree, because 180 divided by 3 is 60 degree. 60 multiplied by 2 is 120 degree. So clearly 120 degree is in the third quadrant. So 2 pi over 3 is in the third quadrant. So now let's find the reference angle for this one. To get the reference angle for this one, I have to subtract the given angle, which is 2 pi over 3, from this quadrant angle pi. So the reference angle is pi negative 2 pi over 3. Let me evaluate this. Okay, to do subtraction between this one and this, so we have to multiply this by the denominator 3. When I multiply this pi by this denominator 3, I'm getting 3 pi. So once I'm done with this multiplication, I can take this 3 as a common denominator. Then I'm getting 3 pi negative 2 pi is just pi over 3. So the reference angle over here is pi over 3. And also, this is the second quadrant. So this is fourth quadrant, this is first quadrant, and it's a third quadrant. In the second quadrant, already we know that sine is positive. So since this given angle is 2 pi over 3 is in second quadrant, sine is positive. So we can write this sine as it is. And now we can replace this angle measure by its reference angle. So the reference angle of 2 pi over 3 is just pi over 3. Just now we got it. So we can replace it by pi over 3. So we know that sine 2 pi over 3 and sine pi over 3, both of them are equal. Okay, now let's move to the original question. That is sine inverse of. So since we got it, the sine pi 2 pi over 3 equals to sine pi over 3. So we can plug in this sine pi over 3 for this sine 2 pi over 3. Let me do it. Sine pi over 3. Okay, now again we got the expression in the same format over here. As I said already, the value we get over here has to be in this interval, so that the same value can be taken as evaluation. So here we have at the place of comparing this and this, at the place of x we have pi over 3. So we have to make sure this pi over 3 is in this interval. Yes, it is, because pi over 3 is 60 degree, it is in the first quadrant. So it comes between negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2. So since we get a value in this interval, closed interval, so this expression equals to, I mean the evaluation of this expression equals to, so the value we get over here, that is pi over 3. So now I have evaluated the value of the given expression, so that is pi over 3.